My beloved child, have you ever stepped into an ordinary morning expecting everything to flow along its familiar course, only to be struck suddenly by an unforeseen event that overturns all your plans, leaving you shaken, bewildered, and even questioning the very path you are walking? Such moments never knock on the door beforehand, never send a warning, never seek your consent. They simply appear like a sudden storm sweeping in on the clearest of days. And in that storm you feel the full weight of unexpected change. It makes you tremble, fearful, clinging to what is familiar, even when you know it has grown old and no longer carries life. Yet it is precisely at the threshold of such upheaval that I reveal to you a profound truth. Loss is not merely an ending, but an invitation to a new beginning, an inevitable rebirth. Human nature leans toward holding on to what is familiar. You find comfort in repeated routines, in old relationships, in places you recognize, for in them you imagine safety resides. Change, especially unexpected change, touches the deepest fears. Fear of loneliness, fear of failure, fear of a shadowed future. But my child, it is when you are compelled to let go, when a piece of your life falls away, that new life begins to sprout. Just as the gardener prunes dead branches not to wound the tree, but to make way for the life flow to surge stronger, preparing it for a season of brilliant bloom, so it is with you. Without pruning, the tree grows weak, its branches tangled, its flowers withheld. Likewise, without seasons of loss, you would never encounter the true transformation I have ordained for you. The hardest truth to accept is that loss often becomes the doorway to blessing. A relationship once thought permanent comes to a close. A job in which you placed all your trust collapses. A carefully laid plan crumbles before your eyes. In such moments, pain floods in your heart, contracts, and you may cry out to me, why? But with time, little by little, you begin to see it is the very emptiness left behind that makes space for what is new. If a room is crammed with old possessions, how can I place my gift there? If your hands clutch broken fragments, how can you receive the treasure I long to give? Loss is the process of refining, stripping away what no longer belongs to prepare the way for what is to come. This does not mean pain vanishes instantly. Loss leaves its mark. Yet, my child, within that scar I bring forth your growth. I teach you that life is not only about accumulation, but about release. Just as the farmer must clear away weeds before sowing seed, so too must your soul embrace moments of stillness and emptiness in order to welcome fresh seed. Sudden changes do not arrive to destroy you, but to awaken you. They stir you from complacency, from illusions that all will remain the same. They remind you that beyond loss, another door is waiting to be opened. Imagine, my child, a traveler walking through a familiar forest. For years, the same path has been a safe, predictable trail. But one day, a sudden flood sweeps it away. Forced to stop, frightened and disoriented, they believe everything has ended. Yet in that very moment, they discover a new path opening in another direction, leading to a vast valley radiant with light, a place they had never glimpsed before. Without that disruption, they would have wandered the old circle forever, never reaching the greater expanse. So it is with you. The unexpected changes in your life are not ruin but openings, though at first they appear like a fierce flood. And remember, pruning always precedes blossoming. You cannot expect to see beautiful flowers and sweet fruit unless you accept the season when the tree is stripped of its branches. Likewise, you cannot step into a new season without releasing what has grown old. This is the principle I have woven into creation itself. Look at nature. Winter sheds its leaves, so that spring may sprout new buds. The seed breaks and decays in the earth, so that new life may push upward. Within every loss lies the seed of new life. Within every ending hides a beginning. But in order to see this, you must be courageous enough to look beyond your present pain. You must believe that loss is not punishment, but part of the maturing process I have ordained. You must accept that not every ending means failure. Sometimes an ending is simply my way of preparing you for a greater chapter. As it is written, all things work together for good to those who love God, Romans 8:2-8. This word reminds you that even in loss, my hand is arranging, turning what seems meaningless into the perfect piece in the tapestry of your life. Perhaps right now you are standing in the midst of a storm. Perhaps you have just lost something precious and a door has slammed shut before your eyes. The tears have not yet dried and you cannot see any sign of a season of blossoms ahead. But be patient, my child. Remember, pruning always comes before blooming. It is not a sign of death, but a herald of new life. Trust that if one part of your life is being cut away, then the rest is being prepared by me to flourish. And one day when you look back, you will give thanks that those unexpected changes opened the way for a new, stronger, and more complete version of yourself, the very version I have seen from the beginning. My child, you often perceive time as a continuous flow of days and nights, of months upon months, years upon years. To you, time is but numbers on a calendar, milestones, remembered through birthdays, anniversaries, or days of loss. But to me, time is more than this steady stream. Each month, each season carries within it a sacred layer of meaning, like markers I have set so that your soul may reveal yet another dimension. When you learn to view time through spiritual eyes, you will realize that no day passes by chance. All bear my imprint, all work together to shape you into the person I destined you to be. Reflect on the seasons of nature, and you will see they are not merely physical phenomena. Spring carries renewal as green shoots rise from soil that seemed lifeless. Summer displays strength and abundance with fruit in full ripeness and sunlight stretching long. Autumn speaks of harvest, but also of falling leaves that make way for preparation. And winter, though cold and barren, is the necessary time for the earth to rest, for trees to hide their strength until new life emerges. These rhythms mirror the journey of your soul. You too have seasons to rise, seasons to bear fruit, seasons to let go, and seasons that seem silent but are in truth preparing you for new growth. Remember, every season has its purpose. Do not despise winter, for in the chill and the silence roots grow deeper to draw life. Do not be intoxicated with summer, for if there is only light and heat, the tree will wither. Likewise, in your life, no season is wasted. The periods you call dark and slow are in fact deepening your soul so that you may bear the weight of the abundance to come. Each month you pass through is not merely the marking of age, but the marking of spiritual maturity. I set these times as signposts, so you may know your journey is not drifting aimlessly, but is being led by me toward an eternal purpose. Consider, my child, why I created the seventh day as a day of rest. It was to teach you that time is not only for labor, but also for recognizing me, for pausing, for listening. If I had not established seasons of rest, you would exhaust yourself in the whirl of your own striving. Each day, each week, each month is part of a sacred rhythm I have arranged, that you may learn to live in step with my heartbeat. When you slow down, you will see that even the seasons that seem empty are revealing something within you: patience, faithfulness, or gratitude. Every stage of your life is like a mirror. There are seasons when you see your strength. There are other seasons when you are confronted with weaknesses you had never dared face before. Do not reject any reflection, for each one is necessary. If I did not let you walk through weakness, how would you learn humility? If I did not let you taste lack, how would you discover the value of abundance? Every facet you see is a brushstroke in the greater picture I am painting of you. My child, look again at the history of my people. When they passed through the wilderness, it was not a season of being lost, but a season of preparation. When they entered the promised land, it was a season of harvest. When they fell into decline, it was a season when I sounded the alarm. And when they repented and returned, it was a season of restoration. So it is with you. Every season you go through is a message I am sending you. I use circumstances, events, and even losses to reveal something new about yourself and about me. Do not think, my child, that you are merely growing old. You are being made mature. Do not think of time as mere decay. Time is the journey I use to refine your soul. Every wrinkle, every scar, every tear marks the truth that you have passed through a season and are no longer the same. That is not loss, it is wisdom engraved deep within you. Therefore, when you look back, do not see only days gone by. See the milestones I have established. This month, this season, is unlike any other, for it has been appointed by me to reveal another part of who you are. Perhaps it is the season in which I teach you trust. Perhaps it is the season in which I train you in patience. Or perhaps it is the season in which I open a new door before you. Learn to ask me, Lord, what do I need to learn in this season? When you ask that question, you will discover that even in sorrow or silence, I am unveiling something precious. My child, do not fear the changes of the seasons, for I am the one who never changes. Time may turn, seasons may shift, but I remain the living one, steadfast and eternal. This guarantees that every season of your life rests in my hands. Even when you find yourself in a season of barrenness, know that it will not last forever. And when you find yourself in a season of abundance, remember that it too is only a part of the greater cycle. Yet all of it leads to one purpose: to reveal the fullness of the person I have placed within you, that you may become a living testimony of my work upon the earth. There will be moments, my child, when your mind will wrestle, striving to find answers to everything that unfolds. You will long to understand the meaning behind every event, to piece together all the fragments into a complete picture. But hear me, not every path can be grasped by your reasoning. There are roads I lead you on that your intellect has never imagined, and there are sudden turns that leave you astonished and unsettled. In such moments, what I call you to is not analysis, but trust. When reason cannot comprehend, faith becomes the lamp that lights your steps. Have you ever watched a child learning to walk? It does not know if its steps are steady, nor does it calculate the distance of each stride. It dares to move forward because it knows a parent's arms are waiting to catch it if it falls. So it is with faith. You do not need to understand the whole journey. You only need to know that I am there, always near, never abandoning you. If you step forward only when you are certain, then it is no longer faith. True faith is when you place your foot upon ground your eyes cannot see, because you are sure my hand will hold you. I know, my child, that you often long for control. You want clear plans, you want to know what comes next, you want the assurance that you will not lose your way. Yet there are things that can only be revealed when you learn to let go. When you cling to control, you limit what I desire to give. For what I have prepared does not fit within the narrow frame of your mind. It stretches far beyond your thoughts, your dreams, and your imagination. As it is written, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love Him. 1 Corinthians 2:9. This is my promise to you, a reality too vast for your reason to grasp, but real enough for your faith to step into. Remember that faith is not blindness. Faith is the choice to place your trust in the one who sees the entire picture. When you stand at the foot of the mountain, all you see are jagged rocks and winding paths. But I who dwell upon the summit see the mountain in its entirety, the path, the obstacles, and the destination. To trust me is to believe in my complete vision rather than your own limited sight. When you place your trust fully in me, you step beyond the boundaries of reason and enter the realm of miracles. My child, think of Abraham. He did not know exactly where he was going when I called him to leave his homeland, yet he stepped forward in faith, and through him I established a nation. Remember Moses when I commanded him to lead the people through the Red Sea. He did not know what lay ahead, but when he lifted his staff in faith, the waters parted. Look also at Peter when he stepped out of the boat to walk on the water. He did not walk by logic, for logic declared that man cannot tread upon waves. He walked by faith in my Son, and that faith kept him steady. These testimonies remind you that faith can open doors that reason declares impossible. I do not call you to reject reason. I gave you a mind to discern, to learn, and to grow. But I also call you to step beyond its limits, for reason sees only the present, while I see the future. Reason explains what has been, but I reveal what is yet to come. If you live only by reason, you will miss the supernatural works I long to accomplish in your life. Yet if you unite your reason with faith, you will walk in both wisdom and power. Faith does not remove hardship, but faith gives you the strength to endure it. You may not understand why a door closes, why someone departs, or why a dream crumbles. But remember, I always have a reason you cannot yet see. Trusting me does not mean you will never weep. Trusting me means that even in your tears you know I am leading you toward life. Trusting me means that though you cannot see the ending, you know I hold the pen and am still writing your story. My child, walk not by what your eyes see, but by what I have promised. For your eyes may behold emptiness, but I see abundance on its way. Your ears may hear words of defeat, but I speak words of life. Your mind may paint pictures of despair, but my plans are of peace and of hope. When you choose to believe, you open the door for my promises to become reality in your life. And know this, I am not distant. When I call you to trust, I do not stand far off watching. I am beside you step by step. When you tremble, I uphold you. When you fall, I lift you. When you grow weary, I whisper encouragement. Trusting me does not mean walking alone in the dark. It means knowing that my light shines still, even when your eyes cannot yet perceive it. You may not understand, but you are not abandoned. You may not yet see, but you are not lost. You may not yet hear the answer, but I am working in the silence. Your faith, even if as small as a mustard seed, is enough to move mountains. And one day when you look back, you will see that every step of faith carried you to places reason could never have led you. My child, I want you to grasp something subtle yet profoundly important. Not everyone who begins the journey with you is meant to stay until the end. They are not wicked, nor are they your enemies, but their role in your story has limits, like a note that sounds for a moment and fades, so the greater melody can continue. If you cling to the sound that is already past, the song will lose its harmony, and you will miss the crescendo I have composed. Remember, life is not a monotonous flow, but a symphony with many movements. Each person I appoint to your path is like an instrument that rises at the right moment and falls silent when their part is complete. Have you ever wondered why some people leave your life, even though there was never any conflict between you? Why do certain relationships naturally fade, not because of fault or failure, but because of an invisible rhythm pushing each person in a different direction? Picture a group of travelers walking along a narrow path. At first, they move together, sharing conversation, bread, and water. But when the road divides into many turns, not everyone is called to follow the same direction I lead you. If you try to pull them along, both you and they will grow weary, for you are forcing them into a journey that does not belong to them. That resistance will only slow you down and discourage them. Yet if you find the courage to let go, both of you will step into the rhythm I have appointed for each life. My child, I know this is not easy. Your heart clings, your memory holds on, and your soul treasures what has been. You may believe that true friendship or love must last forever, but there are connections I allow into your life not to carry you to the end, but to open your eyes to a truth or to awaken a part of your potential that you would never have recognized without them. Some come to reveal patience within you. Some come to expose hidden wounds that need healing. Some appear like mirrors to help you see yourself more clearly. But once their role is complete, if you continue to cling, what was once a bond becomes a chain. Look at the nature I have created. Birds gather in flocks during migration, flying thousands of miles to keep one another warm. Yet when the season changes, they part ways and return to their own lands. They do not part with resentment, nor do they hold on with tears. They simply follow the rhythm written into their design. Your life, too, has such rhythms, but instead of instinct, you have my voice. When I declare that the season of a connection is finished, you must trust that it is not a loss, but an arrangement to set you in step with the path I have destined for you. I know how easily your heart grows attached to those who bring familiarity, but my child, I have not called you to live only in comfort. Comfort sustains the present, but change prepares the future. If I have ordained certain people for only a chapter of your life, you must allow them to finish that chapter and turn the page. Otherwise, you will keep rereading the same passage while the book of your life still holds many chapters yet to be revealed. Do not think that when someone departs it means they failed or that you failed. Do not see endings as wounds, but as punctuation. A period does not erase the sentence, it simply pauses to open the way for a new thought. I am the author of your story, and I will never leave it unfinished. When a character steps off the stage, it is because the scene is being set for what comes next. You need only trust that I know the script. My child, you are not being abandoned. You are being aligned with the right flow. I never take anything from you without replacing it with something better, deeper, and perfectly timed. Those who cannot walk with you to the end are not without worth, they simply have a different mission. Destinies do not always run parallel, and that truth does not diminish the value of the friendship or love once shared. It only affirms that every encounter, whether brief or long, rests within my providence. So when you see some slowing down, stopping, or turning aside, do not panic. Do not rush to hold on nor blame yourself. Instead, ask me, Lord, is this chapter finished? If it is, grant me the strength to let go. And when you release in faith, you will find your hands empty and ready to receive what I have prepared next. Your journey is never shortened by the absence of someone, for I am the companion who never leaves. Others may finish their part, but I am the beginning and the end. Therefore, my child, keep your heart open to this wisdom. Do not fear the shifting of your circle. Fear only this remaining too long in ties that have expired, and thereby missing the train I have set for you. Believe that when one chapter closes, it is never the end, but the start of another, where you will discover a deeper part of yourself, and trust that with me the book of your life will never end unfinished. My child, there are partings that are never marked by words of farewell. No door slams shut with finality, no tears fall in the last embrace, no clear line declaring the end is written on the page. Instead, there is only a quiet withdrawal, an expanding emptiness like a once-rushing river that silently divides into separate streams. You do not know the exact moment it began. One day you simply realize that the calls are no longer answered, the conversations grow fewer, the eyes no longer seek one another as before. And you stand there with a questioning heart. What happened? Why did they leave without a single word? My beloved, that silent absence can wound even more deeply than an open goodbye. For when words of parting are spoken, at least you can mark the closure knowing that the page has turned. But when someone withdraws in silence, you are left to face an emptiness with no explanation. You wonder if you did something wrong or if you were never enough. That pain lingers because it leaves questions with no answers. Yet know this, my child, at times that very silence is part of my design, so that you must confront the emptiness I am creating in order to prepare you for the new. This emptiness is not meant to leave your soul forever barren, but to free up space for my grace to fill. Imagine a room packed with old furniture. Without clearing space, how could I bring in a new chair, a new table, or fresh light? In the same way, if your arms cling tightly to expired bonds, how can you embrace the people I am sending, those who carry renewed spirit, enduring faithfulness, and love that flows from me? You often cling to what you have because you fear the void. You fear absence, fear the solitary meal, fear the silence of an empty room. But my child, in that silence I speak most clearly. In that void my presence enters most fully. When others no longer fill the space, you will begin to hear my voice resound in the stillness. This is grace. I turn absence into an invitation for you to draw closer to me. You once believed that love could only be proven by someone's constant presence, but sometimes my love for you is proven in the removal of a presence, so that your soul might be saved. I see what you cannot, bonds that appear comforting but slowly suffocate you, conversations that seem harmless but quietly sow doubt and fear. When I take away, I am not careless. When I leave an empty space, I am protecting you from what would destroy you in the future. Yes, you will feel pain. You will wake up reaching instinctively to send a message with no reply. You will pass by familiar places and see empty chairs. You will miss the smile, the voice once so known. And your heart will cry out, why? But in that silence I whisper, because I have something new for you, because I am making room for my grace to overflow. You must learn to see pain not as an ending but as preparation. Look at the seed that falls into the soil. From the surface it appears lost, no green sprout, only bare ground. Yet beneath a hidden process unfolds, the shell breaks life, pushes forth. What looks like absence above is secret presence below. In the same way, when someone leaves, when emptiness appears, you think you have lost, but in truth I am planting. You cannot see it yet, but grace is already taking root within you. Do not rush to fill that emptiness with quick replacements. Do not hastily grasp another presence just to quiet the silence. If you do, you will block what I am longing to give. Allow the space to remain for a time. Allow it to do its work, to cleanse, to heal, to enlarge. Let your heart be empty enough that grace has room to pour in. Do not fear the void, for it is not abandonment but preparation for fullness. My child, I have promised never to leave nor forsake you. When others depart in silence, I remain. When their hands no longer hold you, my hand still grips yours firmly. When their voices fall quiet, mine resounds all the more. Do not confuse human silence with my absence. You are never alone. I am the one who turns emptiness into an altar absence, into a place where my grace is poured out. Therefore, when the weight of absence presses upon your heart, lift your eyes and pray, Lord, use this emptiness to fill me with yourself. When you pray thus, you will see that loss is no longer a chasm but a doorway. And beyond that doorway lies grace, peace, and the new beginning I have prepared. There is one thing I long for you to remember. My child, to accept departure is not a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it requires great courage. Many believe strength is shown in clinging tightly, but often true strength is found in the power to release. To let go of a hand once familiar, to walk forward, while your heart still lingers, to smile while tears stream down your face. That is the kind of courage I honor. Weakness is to grasp at what is decayed out of fear. But courage is to dare to believe that I have something new even when you cannot yet see it. My child, separation is sometimes a gift in disguise. I know that at first you will not see it as a blessing. It feels like a parcel wrapped in dull gray paper, lacking beauty, stirring no joy in you. You will think of it as loss, emptiness, or failure. Yet when you unwrap it when time has passed, you will discover within it release a new doorway and grace you could not see while clinging to the old. Many times I cannot bestow blessings until your hands have let go. Departure is the way I clear your hands so they may receive the gift I have already prepared. Look at the sailor. When the wind shifts, if he stubbornly holds the old sail in place, the boat will stall or sink. But if he dares to turn the sail toward the new direction, the vessel continues its journey and arrives safely at shore. To accept change is not failure, but wisdom. In the same way, embracing separation does not weaken you. It reveals that you know how to adjust and follow the breath of my spirit. My child, parting can become a blessing in disguise. When some people leave, you may feel as though your support has been taken away. But in truth, I am freeing you from burdens that were never yours to carry. When one door closes, you may think the light has gone out. Yet in reality, I am shielding you from sparks that could consume your soul. Separation in your eyes may look like loss, but in mine it is protection. It is like a father pulling his child out of the path of an oncoming car. The child cries for not being allowed to play, but the father knows that action saved the child's life. Do you remember the seed? It must leave the parent tree, fall to the ground, and be buried in darkness. From the outside, this looks like separation, like loss. But it is that very falling away that gives the seed the chance to sprout and become a new tree. If it stayed clinging to the branch forever, it would never grow. So too, when you accept letting go, you open the way for new growth within yourself. My child, many times you cry because you believe that farewell makes you smaller. But I tell you the truth, it is in the moment you release your grip in faith that you become greater in my sight. For then you prove that you trust me more than your own emotions. I call this spiritual courage, the kind of courage that does not come from clenched fists but from open hands. Imagine life as a dance. Some people will only dance with you for a few steps before leaving the floor. If you cling to them after their music has ended, both of you will stumble out of rhythm. But if you let them go, the dance continues and new music will rise. Do not mourn that they did not stay until the last note, for I have prepared other partners and other melodies to carry you toward a crescendo you have never imagined. Therefore, my child, do not see acceptance of departure as defeat. See it instead as a declaration that you trust me enough to step into what is new. When you bravely say, "Lord, I let go," you are placing the key into my hand to open the next door. And when you look back, you will see that what you thought was the end was in truth a blessing in disguise. You will smile and say, "If not for that departure, I would never have touched this grace." My child, never think that when I cut something away from your life, it means I am punishing you. I am not a wielder of knives to wound, but a gardener with pruning shears to care for my plants. My pruning does not come from anger, but from love. It is not destruction, but preparation. I see what you cannot yet see, the dry branches that drain your strength, the useless shoots that rob nourishment, the habits and ties that prevent you from bearing fruit. If I do not cut them away, the tree of your life will be weighed down with what produces nothing, and in time it will wither. But because I love you, I am willing to prune so you may flourish all the more. Look at the garden in early spring. The gardener does not hesitate to cut away broken branches and withered leaves. He knows that if they remain, they will block the flow of life to new buds. The tree cannot bloom if it continues to feed what is already dead. In the same way, I do not want your soul bound to what has dried up. Relationships that no longer build habits that drain you, hidden fears that steal your peace, these are the dead branches that must fall away. When I prune, you will feel pain, but that pain is only momentary. What comes afterward is new life coursing through you, growth and flourishing you never imagined before. My child, at times you ask, why do you take away what I love? Why do you allow what is familiar to vanish? Know this, I never take anything away if it still serves your growth. But when it becomes a burden, when it slows your steps, when it pulls you away from me, I must cut it off. I do not cut to diminish you, but to make you light enough to rise higher. Just as a potter reshapes the clay not to destroy it, but to form it into something more beautiful, so too I use pruning to shape you into a more perfect design. Do you remember the vine that my son spoke of? I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit he takes away, and every branch that bears fruit he prunes that it may bear more fruit. John 1:5, 1-2. Even branches that are fruitful must be pruned. For I do not desire that you bear only a little fruit, but that you bear more richer and sweeter fruit. So if you find yourself being pruned, do not fear. It is the sign that you are being prepared for a season of abundance. My child, pruning always precedes blossoming. To the natural eye, the vine may look stripped bare, its branches shortened, no longer attractive. Yet in truth, this is the moment when the vine gathers strength for a greater bloom. Your life is the same. When I take something away, when you feel loss, when you feel bare, it is not the end. It is the transition, the prelude to blessing. Do not let your eyes be deceived by appearances. Trust the process. Trust that my hand never trembles when holding the shears. I know pruning hurts. Every cut releases sap. Every cut makes the vine tremble. But remember, pruning is never meant for lasting harm. I never cut to wound you, but to release the life that has been held back. When I prune, I open the way for light to enter, for fresh wind to pass through, for new shoots to have room to grow. Without pruning, the vine would grow tangled, stifled, starved of light, and would wither. But when pruned, it breathes, it receives, it flourishes. My child, you may not understand it all now, but one day when you look back, you will see that what I cut away were the very things that once bound you. And you will say, "Thank you, Lord, for taking it away, for without it I could never have risen as I have today." Accepting pruning is learning to trust that I know better than you, that I see farther than your eyes can see. True courage is not in clinging, but in letting me remove. Therefore, welcome pruning as a necessary part of the journey. Do not resist, do not fear. Allow me to take away what no longer serves my higher purpose. Believe that every cut is preparation for a radiant bloom. When you learn to see pruning through the eyes of faith, you will no longer see it as punishment, but as promise. And that promise is certain: you will bear fruit greater, deeper, and more enduring than ever before. My child, I want you to know this. The true worth of the soul does not shine in calm days, but in trials. When everything goes well, it is easy for you to believe you are strong, that your faith is steady, that your love is unshakable. But when the headwinds rise, when the things you cling to vanish, then the true light within you is revealed. Trials are not meant to make you less, but to unveil what I have already placed in you. My child, the waves do not come to drown you, but to show you how strong your vessel truly island. When the waters are calm, even the frailest boat floats with ease. But only when the storm rises do you see which boat is sound and which is decayed. So it is with faith in the storm. You discover which faith is mere words and which is rooted deep within the heart. You may be surprised to find yourself standing firm where you once thought you would fall. I have made you this way, stronger than you believe, braver than you know, and trials come not to destroy but to awaken this strength. My beloved, have you ever listened to the sound of an instrument? When the strings lie silent, it is nothing more than wood and wire. But when the hand of the musician presses down with tension, the melody is released. It is the very stretching that creates the song. Without tension, the strings remain silent, never revealing the beauty within them. The trials in your life are like the pressure upon the strings. They do not come to break you, but to awaken the music hidden within the melody. Only you can play in the great symphony of my design. My child, I know you fear the storms. You tremble at the days when fierce winds shake you. Yet it is within the storm that the roots of a tree are revealed. When the wind blows, the tree, whose roots only cling shallowly to the soil, is uprooted, but the tree with roots driven deep will remain standing. So it is with you. When I allow trials to come, it is not to crush you, but to show where your roots are planted. If your roots are anchored in me, you will stand firm despite the raging winds. But if they cling to fleeting things, the trial will expose this truth, not to humiliate you, but to remind you to return to the only source that can hold you secure. Remember, trials do not alter your worth, they simply uncover it. Just as when you compose a piece of music, the melody already exists within your mind, but only when it flows through the keys do others hear it. I wrote your melody before you were born. Trials are the performance where that melody resounds not only for the world to hear, but for you yourself to recognize. My child, I know at times you feel the trial is too heavy. But trust me, I will never let you carry a weight beyond your strength. Every hardship, every shock, every wound has been carefully measured by me, not to overwhelm you, but to reveal exactly what must come to light while never surpassing what you can endure through my grace. I do not design trials to destroy, but to refine, to illuminate. When you stand beneath pressure, remember that within you burns a light greater than the darkness surrounding you. So change the way you see your trials. Do not ask, why must I suffer this? Ask instead, Lord, what do you want me to see through this? For every trial is a mirror. It reflects what you must release, but also highlights the treasures within you that you had not recognized. It reveals your endurance, your faithfulness, your patience, and the faith that often goes unnoticed until tested. You may not welcome the tension, but you cannot deny that it awakens the deepest part of you. Just as a seed only breaks open when the soil presses down upon it, so you too rise when life drives you to a crossroads. And it is in that very moment that the light within you bursts forth the strongest. Therefore, my child, do not fear the trial. See it as the opportunity for me to bring forth your true worth. Let the winds prove your strength. Let the pressure awaken your melody. Let the light shine through and reveal the beauty. For I have placed within you a treasure that cannot be destroyed. Trials do not take that treasure away. They only open it for others to see. And when you overcome, not only will you be transformed, but those around you will be enlightened by your steadfastness and faith. My child, there are things I must cut away, not because they are small, but because they are dangerous to your soul. You may see them as harmless as ordinary parts of life, but I see further than you see. I see the very roots of those things. If I do not cut them off, they will slowly corrupt the whole tree of your life. So when I remove something, trust that it is not only preparation for your future, but also protection in your present. Picture the shepherd pulling a lamb from a thorn bush. The lamb may cry out in pain, thinking it is being torn away from a place of shelter. Yet in truth, the shepherd is rescuing it from the thorns that could pierce its flesh, infect its wounds, and bring death. So it is with you. When I pull you away from a relationship, a job, or a habit, you may feel the pain and think I am taking away your refuge. But my child, I am only saving you from unseen thorns that would harm your soul. Do you remember the fisherman's net? The mesh is woven tightly not to restrict the fish, but to keep them from slipping away. When I set limits, when I close paths that once seemed open, I am spreading a net to hold your soul secure. If I left every door open, you would wander into traps, but when I shut them, I am keeping you in my embrace. Cutting away in that sense is not deprivation, it is protection. My child, you often ask me to bless you, to give you peace, and to grant you success. But the truest blessing does not always come in what I add. Sometimes it comes in what I take away. Not everything you hold in your hands comes from me. Some things you gathered out of fear, out of impatience, or out of a craving for recognition. They are like heavy stones in the backpack you carry. You may think they are valuable, but I know they will break your back on the long journey ahead. So when I remove them, you will later find yourself lighter and freer, though at first you may think you have lost something. My child, my cutting away is like the walls built around a city. Those inside may think the walls confine them, keeping them from going anywhere, but those very walls keep the enemy out and protect the inhabitants within. In the same way, when I set boundaries, when I end a relationship or close off what looks like a good opportunity, it is not to limit you, but to build a fortress around you. Without it, the enemy could slip in easily and destroy what I am shaping within you. Remember this, my child, I am the one who sees ahead. I see conversations you have never heard, intentions you have never suspected, and traps laid long before you arrive at them. When I cut something off, it is to keep you from falling into those snares. You may see only a door that is closed, but I see the abyss behind it. You may see only a relationship that has ended, but I see the shattering of your heart if it had gone on. You may see only a missed opportunity, but I see it robbing you of the peace I have given you. My child, learn to trust that my protection often wears the disguise of loss. If I do not take something away, you will never walk free of what harms you. If I do not cut, you will remain bound by what is small and narrow. I cut to protect you from yourself, your impulses, your wrong choices, your fleeting emotions. And when you allow me to cut, you will find yourself safer, freer, and more at peace. Look at a garden surrounded by a fence. Outsiders may think the fence steals away freedom, but in truth it keeps the fruit within from being destroyed by wild beasts. My cutting away is like that fence. It shields you from those who only want to pluck your fruit without ever caring for your roots. It keeps unclean hands from touching the sacred things I have planted. You may think I am holding you back from connection, but in truth I am preserving purity within your soul. My child, when I cut something away, do not see it as punishment, see it as shelter. When I take something, do not think I have abandoned. You know that I am hiding you from what you cannot yet see. When you understand this, you will learn to give thanks even in loss, because you will know that behind the pruning hand is a heart of love. My child, I never cut away just to leave you empty. I cut so that you may be safe, so that you may be preserved, so that the seed I have sown in you may have the right soil to grow. And you will discover that after every cutting, your peace becomes deeper, your joy becomes purer, and your soul becomes stronger. My protection may not always make sense to you in the moment, but one day when you look back, you will say, if it had not been for that pruning, I would not be standing strong today. My child, I am the light, and when light comes, everything hidden must be revealed. Masks cannot remain in my presence forever. People may hide their motives for a time. They may build images that look perfect. They may cloak themselves with appearances of morality or kindness. But when I send my wind and shine my light, the masks will fall, and the true intentions will be exposed. No more deceit will remain, no darkness will cover. This unveiling is not to shame, but to set free for you and for those around you. Think of a stage when the play has ended. The lights go down, the curtain falls, and the actors return to who they really are. No more lines from a character, no more glittering costumes, just the person weary or hollow standing there. In the same way, I will not allow the false play to go on forever in your life. I will bring down the curtain so that you may see clearly who truly walks with you and who has only been playing a part. This unmasking may hurt for you. Once trusted what you saw. But my child, is not truth always better than illusion? You cannot build your life on a stage. You need a solid foundation, and that foundation can only be truth. My child, when the masks fall, you will see the motives that were once hidden so carefully. Some may have come to you for gain, not for love. Some may have praised you with words while harboring envy in their hearts. Some may have pretended loyalty, but when hardship came, they would have withdrawn. These truths are hard to face, but they are necessary. For I do not want you to give your heart to falsehood, nor to build your trust on rotten foundations. If I allowed the masks to remain, you would continue to build on sinking sand. But when I expose the motives, though it may hurt, it is how I guard you from a greater collapse. Remember this, my child. My light does not only shine upon others, it also shines upon you. There may be masks you wear without realizing it, a smile that hides tears, busyness that conceals emptiness, outward kindness that covers a fear of abandonment. I do not expose these things to condemn you, but to set you free. When you dare to face the truth within yourself, you will no longer grow weary maintaining a facade. You will learn to live authentically, to live freely, and to live in the light. My light is like the rain that cleanses a lake. At first, it stirs up the mud and clouds the water. You might think things have only gotten worse, but soon the mud settles and the water becomes clear, reflecting the sky above. In the same way, when I reveal the truth, it may cause disruption at first. What once seemed peaceful may be shaken, yet afterward your soul will be purified and you will see everything with new eyes. Do not be afraid of exposure, my child. Falsehood may give the illusion of temporary safety, but it is always a trap. It is like a darkened room where you grow accustomed to moving in shadows, thinking you are secure. But when the light is switched on, you see shards of glass scattered across the floor. No longer will you wound yourself by stepping blindly. The truth may startle you, but it will save you from deeper harm. Learn to thank me even when the mask falls and the truth stings. For I never expose what I have no plan to heal. I never strip away the false without giving you what is real. I never close the door of illusion without opening the door of truth. Every revelation is a chain removed a step closer to true freedom. So when motives are laid bare and faces reveal their change, do not be afraid. Do not think you are losing. Know that you are being saved. Do not cling to the mask. Hold fast to the truth. For the truth, though difficult, is the only foundation that can keep you steady. I am the one who declared, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." John 8:3-2. When you step into truth, you step into freedom. My child, I see more clearly than you what has bound your soul. Not all chains are made of iron. Many are woven of invisible cords named loneliness, fear, and insecurity. They are so subtle that you may believe yourself free, while they quietly tighten around each step you take. When my light shines, these entanglements will surface. You will see that what you once called commitment was in fact surrender. You will realize that what you named love was rooted in fear of abandonment, and you will understand that what you considered sacrifice was sometimes only insecurity in disguise. Loneliness, my child, is fertile soil for these cords to grow. In moments of emptiness, you may hastily accept relationships I did not ordain just to fill the silence. You think you have found companionship, but in truth, you are building a cage. You allow others to define your worth instead of listening to my voice. And slowly, you lose your freedom, unable to discern between genuine love and desperate clinging and fear. My child is a master of disguise. It whispers, "If you move forward, you will fail. If you refuse, you will be abandoned. If you live honestly, no one will accept you." Such whispers keep you in cramped spaces, tied to suffocating bonds, unwilling to let go for fear of loss. But clinging in fear is the greatest loss of all. I did not create you to shrink back into shadows, to live passively, or to hide in corners. I created you to rise, to live free, to stand in the light without asking anyone's permission. And insecurity, my child, is the cord that wraps around the mind. When you do not see yourself through my eyes, you begin seeking validation from others. You hand them the power to decide your value. A word of praise can lift you up. A word of criticism can crush you down. Your soul no longer rests on a firm foundation but sways with every breeze of opinion. These entanglements are subtle because they do not clang like iron chains. They are like cobwebs, silent, delicate, gradually wrapping around you until you realize you are no longer moving freely. My child, I do not expose these chains to shame you, but to set you free. I want you to recognize their true origin, for if you only cut the branches, they will grow back. But when you see the roots, loneliness, fear, insecurity, you will allow me to pull them out completely. And when I uproot them, you will see that the soil of your soul is freed, ready for new seeds to be planted. Imagine a dark room with mirrors covered in dust. When light shines in, the dust becomes visible, and you can wipe it away to see the true reflection. In the same way, when my light shines, these chains are revealed so that you no longer live under illusion. You will begin to see which relationships are built on fear, which decisions spring from insecurity, and which choices are made only to cover loneliness. When you see clearly, then you can choose again, not out of darkness but out of light. My child, do not be afraid when I allow these things to be exposed. The greatest pain is not in seeing the rope, but in living your whole life in chains without knowing it. When the truth is revealed, you may tremble, but that is the first step toward freedom. Remember, I never allow exposure without also providing healing. When you dare to face fear, I will teach you courage. When you confront loneliness, I will reveal my presence. When you admit your insecurity, I will show you your true worth in my eyes. My child, I have not called you to live bound, but to walk in freedom. But freedom does not come by denying the chains. It comes by recognizing them and letting them go. So when the hidden cords begin to surface, do not cover them again. Place them into my hands. I will untie each knot, release every binding until you can stretch out your arms, breathe in fresh air, and walk in the lightness of grace. My child, every falsehood has an expiration date. It may last for a time, it may hide in the shadows, it may wear a beautiful disguise, but when my light shines, it will collapse. Do not be surprised when what you thought was solid suddenly crumbles. Do not be confused when people you once trusted reveal their true faces. This is not failure, it is unveiling. The fall of falsehood is not meant to rob you, but to free you from chains you did not even see. Look at a house built on sand. From afar it may seem sturdy, painted beautifully, windows shining with light. But when the heavy rains fall, the sand sinks, the walls crack, and the house collapses. You may mourn the outward beauty, but you cannot live in a rotting house. In the same way, I allow falsehood to collapse because I know that if you remain, your soul will be buried under its ruin. When truth is revealed, you are given the chance to rebuild upon the rock, a foundation no storm can wash away. My child, there are walls that appear smooth and shining, but inside they are rotten. People may cover them with layers of paint, but the decay still festers. When I expose the rot, you will see the cracks, you will hear the breaking. You may think it is loss, but in reality it is salvation. For if I did not let it collapse sooner, one day it would crush you beneath the rubble. I love you too much to let you remain in deception, simply because it looks appealing. My child, truth never fears the light. It is falsehood that trembles when light appears. When dawn breaks, darkness cannot bargain, cannot delay, cannot hide itself for another moment. It must vanish. In the same way, when my light enters your life, every pretense, every lie, every illusion will disappear. At first, you may feel empty, like a room left bare, but that emptiness is the place I will fill with truth, and truth will bring freedom. My child, remember that deception does not only come from outside. At times, your own soul builds layers to protect itself. You may pretend to be strong while trembling within. You may appear joyful while weary inside. You may cover fear with busyness. But I do not want you to live behind these masks. I want you to live in truth, for truth sets free. When I strip away the disguises, you may feel weak, but in that weakness you will learn to lean on my strength. And in that strength you will finally know what it means to be truly free. Imagine the sound of chains falling to the ground. When you have grown accustomed to living in bondage, freedom at first may feel unfamiliar, even frightening. Yet only when the chains are broken can you stretch out your arms, walk, and run. Truth is the key that shatters the false chains. It may overwhelm you, but it always carries life within it. Do not fear the breaking sound, for it is the sound of freedom. My child, I declare to you, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. When deception collapses, this promise becomes reality. You will no longer live to please others. You will no longer be held in relationships that are not genuine. You will no longer wear masks just to be accepted. You will live in truth, and the truth will lift you up. My child, truth may come like a storm, sweeping away what is fragile and shaking everything you once believed to be secure. But after the storm, the sky will be clearer, the air fresher, and the ground ready for a new season. Do not fear the storm of truth. Know that it comes to cleanse, to liberate, and to make way for what I have already prepared. Therefore, my child, when you see falsehoods collapse around you, lift your head and give thanks. Do not mourn the illusions that have disappeared. Know that the truth has opened for you a new path, a path that leads to freedom, to peace, and to abundant life. Lies may imprison, but truth always sets free, and I, the one who is truth, will guide you in that freedom to the very end. My child, I have taken you through seasons of pruning, through days of exposure, through trials meant to reveal your true worth. Yet all of this has only been the beginning of something greater. I am setting you apart to step into a new destiny. This destiny is not an added reward, but the very purpose I inscribed for you from the moment I formed you in your mother's womb. To enter into it, you cannot carry the old burdens, the past entanglements, or the illusions that once bound you. New glory does not permit old baggage. If you truly wish to walk into what I have prepared, you must be ready to lay down everything that no longer serves the journey ahead. Picture a pilgrim crossing the desert. At first, they carry many possessions, bags, tools, and things they believe essential. But as the journey stretches on, their strength wanes and the weight exhausts them. In the end, they realize that unless they release what burdens them, they will never reach their destination. And so one by one the bags are dropped, the loads set aside. There may be regret, yet each release makes their steps lighter. So it is with your spiritual life, my child. You cannot carry all that was once familiar into the future I have prepared. Relationships that no longer serve, painful memories, old habits, all must be left behind. Not because they are meaningless, but because they no longer fit the new path. My child, I know you treasure the past. I know you wish to hold on to the memories, the bonds, the seasons that once brought comfort. But hear me, the past is not a prison, yet if you cling too tightly, it will become chains. I call you out of the darkness, not so that you despise the dark, but so that you may step fully into the light, and light and darkness cannot coexist. Dawn shines only when the night recedes. In the same way, new glory comes only when you let go of what is past. Look at the birds when they molt. Each fallen feather may make them look bare, fragile, and vulnerable. Yet without that season, they would never grow the strong new wings needed to soar higher and farther. So it is with you, my child. When I set you apart, I will allow the old to fall away. That shedding may leave you feeling exposed, but such emptiness is the very condition for new wings to grow. And one day you will soar farther than you ever imagined, because those wings were given by me, not held by your own strength. My child, I am calling you into a new land. It is like crossing the sea. You cannot walk on the water if your eyes remain fixed on the old shore. You must dare to leave the harbor, trusting that I will hold you upon the waves. What is familiar to you was only the beginning, but the destination I have prepared far surpasses anything you have ever imagined. As the word has spoken, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived the things God has prepared for those who love Him. Your destiny lies in that land, a land that only those who dare to let go can reach. My child, being set apart is not the same as being isolated. To be set apart is my confirmation that you carry a distinct calling. When I place you in a new position, you may feel separated from the crowd, stripped of what was familiar, walking a path few choose. Yet it is precisely in that difference that I am shaping you to become a voice, a flame, and a sign for many others. If you simply blend into the crowd, your light will be hidden. But when you embrace being set apart, that light will shine brilliantly, guiding not only you, but also the generations who come after you. Therefore, my child, do not fear when I ask you to lay things down. Do not tremble when I call you away from what is familiar. Believe that every surrender opens the door to a new space, and it is within that space that your destiny will blossom. I have set you apart not for loss, but to lead you into an abundance you have never known. Do not cling to what is falling away. Take hold of my hand. Destiny awaits, and I will lead you into it. My child, I want you to understand this clearly. The destiny I have for you does not come from your own effort. You may work without ceasing, pour out your strength, and try every way to achieve your dreams. Yet all of that, if not placed under my guidance, will only bring weariness and disappointment. Destiny is not the product of personal striving. Destiny is the gift that flows from surrender. When you place every burden upon your own shoulders, you will soon be exhausted. You will feel you are never enough, that there is always one more task to complete, one more proof to present, one more person to please. But my child, I have never called you to live this way. I have called you to walk in freedom and in grace. And that freedom only comes when you surrender, when you acknowledge that your own strength cannot unlock the doors I have destined to open. Remember, it is I who have written the story of your life. I know the beginning. I know every twist along the way, and I know the ending in full. If you insist on rewriting the script in your own strength, you will only distort the process that is already perfect in my design. But when you surrender, you yield to me the authority. You acknowledge that only I have the wisdom to guide you to the destination. Then you will feel the weight lift, for you will no longer bear the burden of proving or controlling. My child, surrender does not mean passivity or resignation. Surrender means you still work, but not by your own strength, rather in partnership with the Spirit. It means you remain faithful and diligent, but you know the outcome rests in my hands. It means you live wholeheartedly, yet without anxiety about tomorrow. When you surrender, you place every step under my direction. You no longer rush ahead of me, nor lag behind, but move in step with my rhythm. What I desire from you, my child, is not exhaustion, but trust. I am not seeking your perfection. I am seeking your willingness. For destiny is never measured by what you can achieve on your own. It is measured by your obedience and trust in me. When you surrender, you make way for my hand to act. You will see doors open that you could never have opened yourself. You will see connections appear at the appointed time. You will see opportunities arise that no effort could ever produce. And you will know beyond all doubt that it was my work, not your own strength. My child, I am calling you to step away from the habit of comparison and competition. You do not need to do what others do to prove your worth. You do not need to meet the standards of the world in order to be accepted. All I desire is a surrendered heart. When you surrender, you will find rest. You will know that I will never let you lack, never abandon you, and never delay. Surrender means placing your time, your outcomes, and your path into my hands, and trusting that I will bring everything to completion. My child, I have declared, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit. This is the reminder that destiny does not come from your strength or intellect. It flows from the working of the Holy Spirit. That is why the sooner you yield, the sooner you will step into peace. The more you insist on doing it all yourself, the longer you prolong your weariness. But when you choose to lay down the burden and let me lead, you will experience abundance, wholeness, and joy that the world cannot give. My child, do not place your faith in the work of your own hands. Place it in me. Do not think you must prove your worth through achievements. Your value has already been determined in me before you ever began. Surrender does not make you weak, it draws you closer to true strength. When you say, Lord, I cannot, but you can, you are not defeated. You are victorious in the only way that endures. Therefore, my child, stop striving to control everything. Pause and surrender. Let me carry the weight, and you will walk lightly. Let me open the way, and you will walk in certainty. Let me arrange destiny, and all you need is to remain faithful in each small step. That is how you will see glory revealed. Not by your own effort, but through surrender, you will enter into what I have promised from the very beginning. My child, I want you to understand this: deeply surrender never ends in emptiness. When you yield, you do not lose, you open. You do not become impoverished, you step into abundance. For I am the one who has promised that every seed sown will produce many more. Each time you lay something down in obedience, you are planting a spiritual seed, and I, the faithful one, will never let that seed die in vain. It will sprout, bear fruit, and usher in a harvest of plenty. My child, you often fear that if you surrender, you will lose everything. You think that if you do not hold on tightly, you will have nothing left. But you have forgotten that I am the one who holds the universe itself. You give to me not to lose, but to receive even more. When you give me your time, I return peace that surpasses worry. When you give me your plans, I open doors you never dared imagine. When you give me your heart, I fill it with love that never runs dry. Surrender is not the end, it is the beginning of increase. My child, the harvest of plenty does not come from human striving, but from absolute trust. When you lay down what I ask of you, you are declaring that you trust me more than yourself. That very trust is the key that unlocks my blessing. Do not think I would let your obedience be in vain. I have spoken and I will fulfill. Those who sow with tears will reap with joy. What you surrender today will become tomorrow's fruit, not only for you, but also for many around you. My child, I do not want you to reap only for yourself. The harvest I am preparing is always greater than personal need. When you surrender, I expand your influence. What you receive will not only be enough for you, but will overflow to nourish, encourage, and restore many other souls. You will not only be blessed, you will become a channel of blessing. This is the abundant harvest. I promise blessings that do not stop with you, but flow through you to generations. Look back at your life. There were times when you clung tightly and you found yourself exhausted. But there were also times when you let go and entrusted things to me, and you received more than you imagined. That was not coincidence, it was a spiritual principle. When you surrender, you open the gates of heaven. When you surrender, you place yourself where grace can move, and when grace moves, it always brings increase. My child, I want you to prepare your heart for the harvest. Do not think that surrender is merely the act of letting go. See it as a seed being planted. Do not measure the harvest by what your eyes can see right now. Do not be discouraged when you cannot yet see the results. Be patient, for the harvest always comes at the appointed time, and when it arrives, it will surpass your imagination. You will not only reap what you have sown, but you will reap with joy, with peace, and with fullness. My child, I have placed within you a great future. Yet you will never enter into it if you continue to hold tightly to everything. I have not called you to live with clenched fists, but with open hands. When your hands are open, I can place more into them. When your heart is open, I can fill it. When your path is open, I can guide it. This is the very secret of an abundant harvest. It flows out of total surrender, keeping nothing back for yourself. Therefore, my child, do not fear surrender. Regard it as planting. Believe that I am the Lord of the harvest, and I will cause the seed to grow. Do not worry about the results. Do not count the days. Do not measure with your eyes. Live faithfully, obediently, and patiently. The harvest will surely come, and it will come in overflowing abundance. Then you will know everything I have asked you to surrender was never a loss, but always the path toward greater blessing. My child, I want you to understand that surrender is not the destination, but the beginning of a complete renewal. I do not call you to let go so that you are left in emptiness, but to open the way to an entirely new chapter where your soul is no longer shaped by fear, but by my spirit. Every time you lay down what is old, I do not leave the emptiness to linger. I fill it with new life, new ways of thinking, and true freedom. This is the divine principle. After surrender comes renewal, and that renewal reveals your true destiny. My child, renewal means you no longer live by the old patterns, no longer think according to the frameworks that once bound you, and no longer act out of former motives. My spirit will transform at the very root how you see yourself, how you see the world, and how you see me. You once allowed fear to rule, once let memories of failure dictate your direction, once let the words of others define your worth. But when you allow my spirit to renew you, those things lose their power. You begin to live not to please others, but to obey me. You are no longer haunted by the past, but learn to walk in the present and move toward the future with confidence. My child, renewal is not a new garment worn outwardly, but a transformation from within. I declare, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewal means that negative thoughts, doubts, and insecurity will gradually fade, making room for peace, hope, and certainty in my promises. You will begin to think differently, speak differently, and act differently, not because you force yourself to change, but because my spirit is at work within you. This is not a temporary adjustment, but a lasting transformation reaching deep into the roots of your soul. My child, one of the clear signs of renewal is that fear will gradually retreat. Once fear ruled you, compelling you to hold on to what I had called you to release. It made you believe that if you did not control everything, you would lose everything. But now, as my spirit fills you, fear loses its place. You will walk in the confidence that I am the one keeping you. You will sleep in peace, knowing that tomorrow is already in my hands. You will lift your head to face challenges, not because you are stronger, but because you know I am always with you. My child, renewal is also revealed in how you are no longer easily shaken by circumstances. Once a single setback could discourage you, a single word of criticism could crush you, a single closed door could drive you to despair. But when my spirit renews you, you will stand firm. You will know that your worth does not come from praise or reproach, but from the truth that you are mine. You will know that every closed door is not the end, but the preparation for a better one. You will know that circumstances cannot destroy what I have ordained. My child, renewal also gives you the strength to let go of the habits that once bound you, not because your willpower has suddenly become extraordinary, but because my grace is at work. My spirit will remind you when you stand before temptation, grant you clarity to say no to what is not of me, and give you courage to say yes to righteousness. What once seemed impossible to overcome now becomes possible because the strength does not come from you but from me. My child, renewal also opens for you a sharper discernment. You will hear my voice within your heart distinguishing what is my will and what is the noise of the world. You will no longer be vague or lost, for my spirit will guide you in every step. You will know when to stop, when to move, when to wait, and when to act. This renewal will keep you from wasting your strength on meaningless pursuits, and instead direct your focus on what truly matters, the mission I have entrusted to you. My child, do not think of renewal as something that happens in an instant and then fades away. It is a continuous process. Each day you surrender, each day my spirit renews. With every trial you overcome, you will discover a deeper layer of transformation. Do not lose heart if you do not yet see immediate results. Do not compare your pace to others. I am working within you at the perfect rhythm. And one day, when you look back, you will see that you are no longer the person you once were. You will behold patience, wisdom, peace, and strength that you never had before. My child, this is the true meaning of renewal. You no longer live for yourself, but live in me. You no longer let the world define you, but allow my word to shape you. You no longer walk under the lead of fear, but under the guidance of my love. This is the new life, the life I have promised, the abundant life, the life beyond anything you could have imagined. Therefore, my child, remain steadfast in this process. Do not return to fear. Do not pick up again the burdens you have already laid down. Do not allow the enemy to plant lies in you, saying that you have not truly been renewed. Fix your eyes on me. Let my spirit continue the work. Live each day in trust. For surrender has brought you onto the path of renewal, and that renewal is the doorway leading you into the destiny I have prepared. My child, I want you to know that the result of renewal is not only a new mind, but a completely different life, a life that carries true freedom and true strength. Once you may have thought yourself free, yet you were still bound by fear, by judgment, by unhealed memories. You may have thought yourself strong, yet that strength was fragile, easily shattered by a single blow. But when my spirit renews you, you will experience a kind of freedom the world cannot give, and a strength that does not come from willpower but from me. My child, true freedom is not the ability to do whatever you please. True freedom is being released from the chains within. When you are renewed, you will realize the burdens that once held you down have fallen away. The fears that once kept you awake at night no longer control your mind. The obsessions with failure, shame, or rejection will no longer be the voice that leads you. You will no longer need to prove your worth, for you know you are already loved unconditionally. You will no longer be forced to live by the standards of others, for you know I have called you my beloved. This is true freedom, no longer enslaved to false voices, but walking in the truth I have spoken. My child, renewal also brings true strength. Not the kind of strength that dominates others, but the strength to stand firm, to be faithful, to endure. True strength does not boast, but perseveres quietly. It does not depend on favorable circumstances, but endures even in trial. When my spirit dwells within you, you will experience a resilience you have never known. You will see yourself overcome what once seemed impossible. You will see that you no longer fall so easily under judgment or rejection. You will know that even in your weakness I remain your strength. My child, true strength also reveals itself in steadfast faith. In the past, you were easily swayed by public opinion, by emotions, by what your eyes could see. But when my spirit renews you, you will learn to stand on my word. You will choose to believe even before you see. You will continue walking even when the path looks uncertain. This is not stubbornness, but steadfastness born out of trust that I am faithful. And this steadfastness will set you apart, bearing witness to those around you that a power greater than yourself is at work within you. My child, freedom and strength go hand in hand. When you are still bound, the strength you have is only temporary. But when you are free in me, you are truly strong. For nothing within can imprison you anymore, and you can pour all your energy into the purpose I have called you to. You will no longer be distracted by fear, drained by the need to please others, or confused by lies. You will become focused, clear, and strong. This is the renewed life, the place where freedom and strength move together, lifting you higher than you ever thought possible. My child, I want you to see that true freedom does not mean you will never face difficulties. True freedom means that even in the midst of hardship, your soul is not imprisoned. The world may take away wealth, reputation, or opportunities, but it cannot take away the peace and faith within you. This is the kind of freedom no force can touch, for it comes from my spirit. And true strength is not found in never being weak, but in standing firm in weakness through my grace. When you acknowledge your limits, you will encounter my limitless power. My child, it is this renewal that will cause you to become a living testimony. Others will look at you and wonder, how can you remain at peace in the storm? How can you continue to love, even when you are wounded? How can you remain faithful when so many have given up? They will see in you a strength unlike anything in this world. And in that very moment, you will be shining forth the truth that I am the one who has renewed you, and that true freedom and strength are found only in me. Therefore, my child, do not fear renewal. Open your heart for my spirit to continue his work. Accept that some things must change, some relationships must come to an end, and some habits must be left behind. Do not focus on what is lost. Focus instead on the freedom and strength that are being formed within you. For after renewal, you will no longer be the same. You will become someone prepared to walk into destiny, not in captivity, but in freedom, not in weakness, but in strength. My child, I want you to understand that the renewal I bring in you never stops with you alone. Every work I perform in a soul carries influence beyond the borders of the individual. I touch you not only so that you may be free, but so that through your freedom many others may find light. I renew you not only so that you may step into abundant life, but so that this life may flow outward, reaching your family, your community, and your generation. My child, a renewed life becomes a mirror. Others will observe how you respond, how you choose, and how you stand firm. When they see your peace in the storm, when they see forgiveness in place of bitterness, When they see faithfulness where others have quit, they will realize that a power greater than you is at work. And this very realization will plant hope within them. Many will be drawn to me not because of your preaching, but because of your living. You will become living proof that renewal is real, that my grace truly transforms. My child, renewal within you will also shape your family. In the past, your family may have been marked by old patterns, bitterness, division, fear. But as you allow me to renew you, those patterns will be broken. You will not repeat the mistakes of the generations before, but you will open a new path for those after you. You will build a different foundation where love, trust, and righteousness become the legacy. And you will see that your faithful decisions today do not affect only you, but also your children and even those yet to be born. My child, remember this: every time you are renewed, you become an instrument for my use. You will encourage the weak, lift up the fallen, and guide those who are searching. The renewal within you is a living testimony, opening doors for you to become an influence, not so that you may be exalted, but that my name may be glorified. When others look at you, they will know that I am at work, and it will awaken in them a longing to be transformed as well. My child, renewal also impacts the community to which you belong. One renewed person can change the atmosphere of an entire group. One renewed heart can inspire many others. As you walk in truth, you will draw your surroundings closer to the light. As you choose righteousness, you set a different standard, compelling others to reconsider their choices. In this way, renewal within you is never hidden. It always creates ripples that spread outward. My child, understand this. I am not only calling you out of old cycles, I am calling you to be a trailblazer. I have chosen you to rise up and change the story not only of your own life, but of your family, your lineage, and your generation. Do not underestimate this influence. A single faithful decision, a single act of obedience, a single honest prayer can open the door of blessing for hundreds who come after you. This is how I work. I sow into one life in order to reap a harvest in many. My child, this is why renewal is a sacred responsibility. It is not given simply so that you may feel better, but so that you may become a steward of new life. I grant you freedom not for you to keep it for yourself, but so you may share that freedom with others. I give you strength not for your personal gain, but so you may become a source of encouragement for those who are weak. I renew you so that you may renew others. This is the divine cycle of grace: to receive in order to give, to be renewed in order to spread renewal. My child, I have placed upon you a mission greater than yourself. Do not stop at your own rescue. Look beyond and see that an entire generation is waiting for your testimony. Know that what you do today will become the legacy of tomorrow. Your faithfulness today will turn into a story of faith for your descendants to retell. The renewal you live in now will open up a broader path for the next generation to walk upon. Therefore, my child, live in this renewal with a wide open heart. Do not keep it as a private secret. Let the light shine forth. Do not treat it as a personal privilege. See it as a responsibility. You are renewed to transform the atmosphere around you, to establish a different foundation, to become a vessel in my hand. And as you live faithfully in this way, you will see your influence surpass what you could ever measure. The renewal within you will become the seed of renewal for an entire generation. My child, I want you to change the way you see challenges. In the past, every time difficulties came, you trembled, you complained, you thought I had abandoned you. But now that you have stepped into renewal, you must understand that challenges are no longer a burden, but the very environment I use to shape you. Challenges are not the enemy, they are the classroom. Without them, you would never grow in faith, in patience, in perseverance. It is through trials that you are prepared to carry the weight of your destiny. My child, I do not send trials to make you stumble, but to make you strong. I do not allow storms to come in order to extinguish your faith, but to make it burn brighter. I do not lead you through difficulties to leave you drained, but to help you discover the true strength that already resides within you. You must know that every time you overcome a challenge, you step up to a higher level. Every time you endure, a new depth of maturity is formed within you. And this transformation does not only change you, it impacts everyone around you. My child, I know that trials can bring you to tears, I see the nights when you wrestle in restlessness, when your heart is heavy and your eyes are wet. But I also know that within those very tears you are learning to lean on me instead of your own strength. You learn that when you are weak, I am strong. You learn that when you are helpless, my grace is sufficient. And in that very moment you begin to mature. Maturity does not mean you no longer weep, but that you place your tears into my hands and allow me to turn them into strength. My child, let me adjust your vision. When trials come, do not ask, why me? Instead ask, Lord, what are you teaching me? For every challenge carries a lesson, and that lesson will prepare you for greater doors ahead. If you avoid them, you will miss the preparation you need. But if you walk through them with patience, you will emerge with wisdom, steadfastness, and an unshakable faith. This is how I train those I love. My child, growth through trials also reveals itself in how you no longer react as you once did. In the past, even the smallest disruption could throw you into panic. But now you will learn to remain calm, to trust, and to pray. Before a single criticism could shatter your spirit. But now you will learn to hold firm to your worth in me rather than letting the words of others define you. In the past, you avoided hardship, but now you will understand that hardship itself is the very opportunity for growth. My child, you cannot step into a great destiny without trials. For destiny demands a firm foundation, and trials are the very tool that builds that foundation. Without trials, you would easily grow discouraged, easily compromise, and easily be swept away. But when you have walked through trials, you will learn how to stand firm, how to discern, and how to remain faithful to the very end. This is why I allow trials to exist, to mature you and prepare you for something greater. Therefore, my child, do not fear trials any longer. Look at them with different eyes. Know that in every difficulty I am with you. I am teaching you, refining you, and preparing you. You will not collapse, for I will never let you carry more than you can bear. You will not be abandoned, for I am the one who walks with you. You will not suffer loss, for everything you pass through is shaping the person I destined you to become. Trials are no longer a burden, but an environment where you grow strong in me. My child, I want you to grasp an important truth. Trials are not merely a season of hardship to be endured, but a tool to reveal the true foundation within you. When all is favorable, when you are surrounded by outward peace, you may assume your faith is strong, but only when difficulties strike do you truly discover what foundation you are standing on. Trials are like a mirror, clearly reflecting whether your trust is placed in me or in something else. They uncover what you had never seen before and give you the chance to realign. Many believe they stand firm in me until they are shaken. Yet when the storm comes, it becomes evident that some had built only on convenience rather than on faith. They placed their security and wealth in relationships and achievements, and when those things vanished, their hearts collapsed. Trials reveal this not to bring shame, but to awaken. They show that the true foundation has not yet been me, and if they are willing to learn from it, they can return, set their foundation upon me, and become unshakable. My child, your own foundation must also be revealed. You may say you trust me, but when hardship comes, your response reveals where your faith truly lies. If you run to me first, you prove that I am your foundation. If you panic and look to worldly solutions, you will see that your faith is still shallow. This is not to make you feel like a failure, but to show you that more building is needed. Trials are the opportunity for me to strengthen you, to lay down additional stones beneath your feet, so that you stand stronger after every shaking. Beyond revealing foundations, trials also refine faith. Faith cannot become strong through theory or knowledge alone. Faith is forged and solidified when it is tested. Each time you choose to trust me in the midst of uncertainty, your faith rises higher. Each time you hold to my promises instead of listening to doubt, your faith is reinforced. And through each such moment, you are trained to endure, becoming one who cannot be easily moved. Superficial faith will not sustain you on a long journey. That is why I allow trials, so your faith will not remain bound to emotions. If your emotions lead, you will only believe when things are easy. But when faith is refined, you will choose to believe even when feelings betray you. You will choose to believe even when no outward sign supports you. That is true faith, faith that has been tested and proven. And it is this very faith that will carry you through every season and lead you to the destiny I have set. My child, see trials as a spiritual classroom. Every lesson has a purpose. The first lesson is for you to know your true foundation. The next is for you to grow in faith. If you avoid it, you will miss the process. But if you walk faithfully, you will leave the classroom with new wisdom and fresh strength. Faith will no longer be a concept, but will become your very breath, living, active, and unshakable in your life. My child, do not be afraid when trials reveal that your faith is still immature. That is not failure, but an invitation to go deeper. I never expose a shortcoming without also providing the opportunity for you to grow. When you recognize your weakness, you will learn to lean on my strength. When you see that your foundation is not firm, you will be motivated to place more trust in me. This is the process of refinement, from weakness to strength, from shallow to profound. My child, I want your faith to become a flame that cannot be extinguished, not a flickering spark. I want your trust to become a firm anchor, not a fleeting thought. And for that to become reality, trials are necessary. Each time you remain steadfast in a test, you prove that faith is no longer only words, but has become a true power. That is how I prepare you for greater responsibilities for the glorious seasons ahead. Therefore, my child, when trials come, let them do their work. Do not run away, do not rebel, do not despair. Let them reveal your true foundation and let them refine your faith. For after every season of testing, you will stand firmer, see more clearly, and grow stronger. And when others look at you, they will see a living witness that faith can endure the fire of trials and still shine brightly. My child, I want you to understand that the trials you go through are never in vain. They are not only to shape you, but also to reveal me to many others. Your life is a book that others are reading. When you walk through trials with faith, when you stand firm though storms surround you, you are writing a living testimony. Others may never read the scriptures, but they are reading your very life, and your perseverance in trials will become evidence that I am the faithful one. My child, many around you are searching for hope. They look at the world and see only insecurity, chaos, and futility. But when they see you standing firm, when they see that your peace is not stolen by circumstances, they will know there is a strength beyond human reach. They may not fully understand, but they cannot deny that there is something different about you, and that very difference will make them ask questions, and the answer will lead them to me. My child, the trials within you are a mirror for many to see. When you are patient in suffering, others learn what true patience means. When you choose forgiveness instead of resentment, they see the image of true love. When you hold fast to your faith instead of compromising, they are encouraged to stand firm as well. What you live out in the midst of trials carries more power than 1,000 words. A living testimony is not found in eloquent sermons, but in daily faithfulness, even in the fire. My child, I do not allow you to face trials merely to prove something to yourself. I also permit them for the sake of those who are watching. Some will be encouraged by your steadfastness. Some will find hope in your faithfulness. Some will return to me simply because they saw how you still trusted me in difficult times. This is how I use one life to transform many lives. My child, there will be moments when you wonder who will know, who will care. But I tell you, more eyes are watching you than you think. There are people silently observing, saying nothing, yet deeply moved by the way you live. They may not come to praise you, but in their hearts a seed has been planted. And one day that seed will sprout. You will never know the full extent of your influence until I reveal it on the final day. My child, even your weakness in trials can become a testimony. When others see you fall but also see you rise again, they will understand that faith is not perfection but perseverance. When they see you weep yet continue to pray, they will know that true faith is not extinguished by pain. When they see you stumble but return, they will know that my grace is big enough to restore anyone. That authenticity carries great power, for it shows that I am not only the God of the perfect, but the God who upholds the weak. My child, trials are also opportunities for you to become a comforter. When you have walked through difficult roads, you gain the ability to guide others through similar paths. Because you know pain, you know how to share. Because you know weariness, you know how to lift others up. Because you know darkness, you know how to point them to the light. This is why I never allow your trials to be wasted. Each trial becomes a tool for you to serve others, a testimony to encourage them, and a source of strength to uphold them. My child, remember that the most powerful testimony is not when you speak about ease, but when you tell of my faithfulness in times of hardship. Others will be moved when they see you, still believing, still walking, still praising me, even as everything falls apart. This is the strength of a living testimony. It does not embellish, it does not pretend. It is real and it touches hearts. Therefore, my child, walk through trials with the awareness that you do not live for yourself alone. You are a witness of me. Every choice you make, every attitude you carry, every prayer you lift has influence. You are not alone. I am with you, and many are finding faith through the way you live. Trials are not merely a training ground, they are a mission. They turn you into a shining light in the darkness, guiding many souls back to me. My child, I want you to understand that in the spiritual journey there are seasons where you must be set apart. This is not meaningless isolation, nor is it punishment, but a necessary step to prepare you for something greater. I cannot lead you into new glory while you still cling to what is old. Not every person, habit, or mindset can go with you to the place I have appointed. Some things must stop so that you can move forward. My child, separation may sometimes make you feel empty. Old friends may leave familiar relationships, may fade doors that once opened may now close. You may easily think you have been abandoned, but in truth it is I who am protecting you. I know what lies ahead, and I will not allow what does not belong to you to continue with you. I love you enough to cut away what could hinder your future. That separation is evidence of my providence, not rejection. My child, remember that separation is the path toward holiness. I call you to live differently, not to blend in, not to compromise. If you keep trying to please everyone, you will lose clarity in your calling. You were not created to dissolve into the crowd, but to stand firm. That is why I will lead you through seasons where you feel alone, so that you may learn to rely on me rather than the majority. This process is difficult, but it shapes within you a secure identity and a faith that cannot be shaken. My child, do not fear when you see yourself set apart. Remember that every person I have called throughout history has had to endure seasons of separation. Abraham was called out of his homeland. Moses was separated from the palace. David spent years in the wilderness. Jesus himself entered the desert before beginning his ministry. Separation is not abandonment. It is a sign that you are being prepared. If you understand this, you will no longer complain, but give thanks, knowing that I am doing deep work in your soul. My child, I speak the truth. There are some who are only destined to walk with you for part of the journey. They have completed their mission in your story. If you insist on holding them back, you will delay yourself. Separation is necessary to make room for new relationships, for the connections I have prepared. Do not chase after what I have already removed. Do not cling to what I have closed. Trust that today's absence is the condition for tomorrow's fullness. My child, separation also reveals who truly belongs to you. When you walk through difficult seasons, those who are not sent by me will gradually drift away. Do not grieve over this, for I am sifting to preserve only the pure, steadfast, and faithful relationships. Those who remain by your side after this refining are the ones I have chosen to journey with you. They are not drawn by personal gain, but because they share the calling that comes from me. These are enduring relationships, precious in value, and they will become a true support for you along the way. My child, accept separation as part of the process of growth. Do not resist it. Do not attempt to fill the emptiness with things that do not come from me. Let the silence of this season of being set apart deepen your roots in me. Let the empty days become opportunities for you to learn to hear my voice more clearly. When you remain faithful in this time, you will emerge with a strength and a readiness that no other season could bring. Therefore, my child, when you feel yourself being separated, remember that you are not abandoned. You are being sheltered. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. Every time I take something away, I always have something better to replace it. Every time I close a door, I always open another. The separation you face today is the very path that leads you into the fullness of tomorrow. Trust, be patient, and allow me to lead you through this season of being set apart. My child, I want you to recognize an important truth. Separation does not end in loneliness, but opens into a deeper union with me. When I remove you from relationships, habits, or unnecessary noise, I am not leaving you to wander in emptiness. I am inviting you closer, so that your heart may find its completeness in me, and your soul may learn to unite with me in a way it has never known before. Union with me, my child, cannot take place when you cling too tightly to others or to outward things. When your mind is filled with the noise of the world, my voice is easily drowned out. When your heart depends on human approval, my love is pushed aside. This is why I allow separation to happen. In the silence of separation, you begin to hear my voice with clarity. In the absence of what once filled the space, you begin to long for my presence. It is when the external supports are stripped away that you learn to lean wholly on me, and that is when true union begins. My child, deep union is not merely knowing me by knowledge, but experiencing me in every breath and every step. When you pass through separation, you will find yourself praying more, not out of obligation, but out of desire. You will read my word not just to keep a routine, but because you truly need the life within it. You will seek me not merely for a miracle, but because you know without me you are empty. This is the deeper union into which I am leading you. Separation. My child, is like leading you into a secret place where no one else can see, where it is only you and me. There I whisper to you the mysteries of my kingdom. I reveal things that cannot be heard amidst the crowds. I fill your heart with peace that surpasses all understanding. I let you feel my love in a personal way, without intermediaries, without noise, but directly and intimately. You will know that I am not only the God of the universe, but also your close Father. My child, many fear separation because they fear loneliness. But I tell you, this separation in me is not loneliness, but union. Loneliness is the absence of love and companionship. Yet in separation you will find me closer than ever before. I become your closest companion, the one who hears every whisper, the Father who wipes away every tear, the comforter of your soul. You will realize that even when no one else remains around you, you are still complete because I am with you. This union, my child, will change the way you see everything. When you are truly united with me, you will no longer fear loss. For you know that even when everything else changes, I never change. You will no longer panic when plans do not unfold as you expected, because you trust that my plans are always better. You will no longer feel empty when human approval is absent, for you have already been called my beloved. This union is the firm foundation that no circumstance can shake. My child, I want you to understand that union with me is not a fleeting feeling, but an ongoing relationship. Separation is only the beginning step, drawing you into a place where you learn to live in daily dependence on me. And when you step out of this season, the union will not end, it will continue. It becomes a way of life, a life always turned toward me, always clinging to me, always drawing strength from me. This is the most precious inheritance that the season of separation gives to you. My child, I speak to you, abide in me, and I will abide in you. This is the promise for all who belong to me. When you remain in me, you will see that I also remain in you, guiding, comforting, strengthening, and filling you with love. This union does not come from busyness, nor from chasing after others. It comes from moments of separation, when you truly open your heart and allow me to take full possession of it. Therefore, my child, do not fear separation. See it as my invitation for you to enter into a deeper union. Do not try to fill the emptiness with temporary things. Let that space become the place where you and I meet. Let that silence become the music of intimacy. Let that secret room become the doorway to heaven. When you embrace this, you will discover that separation is not a loss, but a wholeness. It leads you to the place where you belong, in my arms, in the unbreakable union with me. My child, I want you to know that everything you have gone through, the pruning, the renewal, the trials, the seasons of separation, are not scattered fragments. They are steps in a carefully designed process to prepare you for your true mission. I do not bring you into difficult seasons only to leave you there. Every time I allow one chapter to close it is to open another. And now, after all this, you are stepping into the season of being sent. My child, mission is not a vague idea. It is the very reason I created you. From the time you were in your mother's womb, I placed within you gifts, abilities, and desires unlike anyone else. But for these to be revealed and to grow, you had to walk through the process of preparation. If I let you enter your mission without pruning, you would carry unnecessary burdens. If I sent you without renewal, you would still think in old ways. If I used you without trials, you would collapse at the very start. If I released you without separation, you would allow the world to mingle with your calling. That is why every season you have passed through has been training for this day. My child, now I call you to rise and step into your mission. Do not think that mission is only a grand task or a position seen by many. Mission is obedience in everything I entrust to you, from the small to the great. It can be the way you live within your family, in your workplace, or among your community. It can be a word of comfort, an act of love, or simple faithfulness in daily duties. Do not despise the small things, for mission is not measured by scale but by obedience. My child, I send you not to add more burdens but to lead you into fullness. When you live according to the purpose I designed, you will experience a satisfaction nothing else can give. You once sought meaning and success in relationships, in recognition, but all of it left you empty. Only when you live for the purpose I placed within you will you know what true fulfillment. Island being sent does not take away your freedom. It sets you free to live in your true self in me. My child, do not fear when I call you forth. You may think you are not enough, not worthy, not ready, but remember, it is I who prepare and equip you. What you lack, I will supply. Where you are weak, I will be your strength. What you do not know, I will teach you. Mission is not built on your ability, but on my power. When you walk in obedience, I will provide everything you need at the right time. My child, I declare to you, mission is not an optional addition to life, but its very core. You were not created to drift aimlessly, to merely survive day by day, but to bring my light wherever you set your feet. Your life is not random, but part of my greater plan for an entire generation. Therefore, every step you take in your mission carries eternal weight. My child, being sent also means you cannot return to the old ways. The past seasons no longer hold you. Old habits, old ties, old fears no longer have a place in this new journey. You cannot live for me while clinging to the comfort of the past. Mission requires decisiveness, but do not be afraid, for that decisiveness opens into greater freedom. It ushers you into a life where you will see me working through you, doing things beyond imagination. My child, when I send you forth, you will become a witness to many. You do not need to promote yourself, for the very works I accomplish through you will stand as testimony. Others will see the difference, the clarity, the peace, and they will know that I am with you. This is the true meaning of being sent, not that you may stand out, but that my name may be exalted, and that many may be drawn near to the light. Therefore, my child, walk boldly. Do not look back. Do not hesitate. Do not let fear restrain you. Everything you have gone through has led to this moment. I have prepared, refined, shaped, and set you apart, so that now you may step into your mission unbound. Being sent is not a burden, but the summit of the journey. You will find yourself living in fullness, for you are doing what I appointed for you from the very beginning. My child, I want you to understand that being sent is not only an honor, but also a great responsibility. When I place a mission upon you, I also entrust you with the duty to care for it, to guard it, and to bring it to completion. Being sent is not a garment to boast in, but a sacred weight to bear with reverence and faithfulness. Never think that being called means you may live carelessly. On the contrary, the greater the calling, the more you must walk in wisdom, vigilance, and spiritual discipline. My child, the first responsibility in being sent is to keep your heart pure. All great works will become meaningless if your heart is corrupted by pride, greed, or compromise. I care more for the heart than for outward results. If you are faithful to guard your heart upright, I will preserve the work of your hands. But if you neglect the heart, then, even if you accomplish many great things, they will not endure. Therefore, my child, guard your heart above all else, for from it flows the wellspring of life. My child, the second responsibility is to walk in daily faithfulness. A mission is not built upon dazzling moments, but upon ordinary days lived faithfully. You cannot choose to be faithful only when others are watching, but must remain faithful even when no one knows. You cannot endure only when praised, but must endure even when misunderstood. A mission is not measured by applause, but by steadfast obedience. I have spoken, whoever is faithful in little will also be faithful in much. This is an unchanging principle. My child, responsibility within your mission also includes caring for those I have placed under your influence. Do not see them as tools to achieve goals, but as precious souls entrusted to you for guidance, encouragement, and support. You are not accountable for their final choices, but you are accountable for how you love, teach, and exemplify. Never forget that a single word you speak, a single action you take, can become either a doorway of hope or a stumbling block for someone seeking me. My child, faithfulness also means you do not give up when difficulties arise. A mission is not always easy. There will be seasons when you feel alone, when opposition rises, when your labor does not bear immediate fruit. But faithfulness is to keep walking even when results are not visible. Remember that you plant and water, but I alone cause the seed to grow. If you are faithful to plant and water, I will take care of the rest. Do not let delays discourage you. Let them train you to become steadfast. My child, part of responsibility is learning to steward what I give. If I give you time, you must use it wisely. If I give you talents, you must dedicate them to serve, not to exalt yourself. If I give you relationships, you must cherish and nurture them. If I give you resources, you must use them to expand my kingdom, not to feed greed. Faithful stewardship is the evidence that you understand everything you have comes from me and must be used for my purposes. My child, do not think that this responsibility is an unbearable burden, for along with responsibility, I also grant you strength. I never place upon you anything beyond your ability when I am with you. But I want you to understand that privilege and responsibility always go hand in hand. If you desire to walk in the glory of the calling, you must also be willing to live in daily faithfulness. If you want to enjoy the harvest, you must labor diligently in sowing. If you long to see great doors open, you must first be faithful to walk through the small ones. My child, your faithfulness does not only bring blessing to yourself, but it also becomes a testimony to many others. When they see you steadfast in obedience, they will recognize that I am the faithful one. When they see you managing well what I entrust to you, they will know that I can trust you with even more. When they see you refusing to give up in hardship, they will be encouraged to walk with me as well. This is the power of faithfulness. It not only secures you in your mission, but also inspires an entire generation. Therefore, my child, remember that a calling is not only an invitation, but also a commitment. Do not chase after glory while forgetting responsibility. Do not seek results while neglecting faithfulness. Walk with reverence, with humility, and with a heart determined to please me above all else. If you hold to this, you will not only begin well, but also finish gloriously. For I have not called you merely to start, but to bring to completion. My child, I want you to know that the calling is not just a season in life, but a doorway into an eternal legacy. What you do in obedience does not end when you leave this world. It continues to echo in the souls of those you touch in the generations that follow and in eternity, where I record every act of faithfulness. This is why I train, renew, test, and set you apart, so that your steps do not pass in vain but become a lasting sacred inheritance. My child, true legacy does not lie in wealth, fame, or fleeting success. All these things will fade. Money will lose its value, power will be forgotten, reputation will grow dim with time. But the spiritual legacy you leave through the calling will endure forever. A single word spoken in faithfulness can change the direction of a life. A single act of love done in my name can touch a weary heart and draw it back to me. A life lived in obedience can become a model for an entire generation after you. This is the true legacy, the one that no time or power can erase. My child, I call you to see beyond today. When I send you, I do not think only of what you will do in a few years, but of the impact that will span many generations. Every faithful decision today becomes a seed for tomorrow. You may not see the fruit immediately, but trust that the seed will sprout in its time. Perhaps you will not be the one to reap, but the generation after you will. And in that day they will know that it was your faithfulness that opened the way. This is how I work. I sow through one so that the blessing may flow to many. My child, do not think that eternal legacy is reserved only for those of high position. Every one of my children who walks in their calling leaves a spiritual imprint. A faithful mother raising her children in the fear of me is building a legacy. A steadfast father living uprightly before his family and community is also leaving a legacy. A diligent worker laboring with integrity without compromise is likewise leaving a living testimony. Legacy is not measured by the scale of the work, but by the depth of obedience. My child, I want you to remember that a true legacy is eternal because it is recorded in the book of life. Every tear, every prayer, every act of obedience is written down by me. Even when others forget, I never forget. I have spoken. Whatever you do for one of the least of these, you do for me. And what you do for me will never be lost. In eternity, you will see the fruit of your faithful steps. You will meet the souls saved through your perseverance. You will see generations transformed through your obedience. This is the reward greater than any earthly glory. My child, your calling also carries the responsibility of laying a foundation for the next generation. If you live faithfully, you will leave behind a solid path for others to walk. If you compromise, you will leave a burden for the next generation to undo. That is why I want you to understand, every step you take is not only for yourself, but also for those who will come after you. Do not underestimate that influence. Do not live only for the present. Live with the awareness that you are writing a story that will be read by many generations. My child, there are things you do today that will have an impact you may never fully know. You may think a prayer is small, but it can change the destiny of a life. You may think an act of love is insignificant, but it can save a soul from despair. You may think your faithfulness goes unseen, but it can become the testimony that I am the faithful one. An eternal legacy is formed through such small yet steadfast acts. My child, I tell you this, the calling you are walking in today is the beginning of a stream of blessing that will never end. That stream will flow beyond your own life, spreading into your family, your community, and the generations to come. And when the final day arrives, when you stand before me, you will see the full picture that nothing you did was in vain. Every faithful act became a brick in an everlasting building. You will hear my words, "Well done, good and faithful servant, enter into the joy of your Lord." Therefore, my child, walk in your calling with an eternal vision. Do not live only for what the eyes can see. Do not trade an everlasting legacy for temporary comfort. Remember that every drop of sweat, every sacrifice, every act of faithfulness is building a legacy no one can take away. And one day when you look back, you will know that nothing you did for me was ever in vain. Thank you for listening to today's message. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may build a strong community of faith.